Warning, the following video contains graphic footage of an officer-involved shooting. Viewer discretion is advised.
Get on the ground, you get bit! Get on the ground, you get bit! Stop, drop it!
On November 5th, California Highway Patrol initiated a pursuit after a driver made an illegal U-turn and fled a traffic stop. The chase lasted nearly 5 minutes along the I-80 until the suspect swerves into a motorcycle, causing a devastating crash. Moments later, the situation turns fatal when he charges at the injured motorcycle driver and officers with a knife.
Hey, stay in the car, you're gonna get bit! Get on the ground, you're gonna get bit! Get on the ground, you're gonna get bit! Stop, drop it! Stop! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Drop the knife! Drop the knife!
We have a 901 and shots fired. Officers are okay. Suspect down. Start code 3 fire. Eastbound 80, east of Greenback.
The suspect appears to be deceased from the gunfire. Officers immediately move in to render aid to the motorcycle driver.
You follow me up there, I'll kick the knife out of his hand.
All right, go ahead. Okay, for affirm. And start 2 medics, 1 for the suspect and 1 for uninvolved motorcycle.
Hey, bud. What's your name? What's your name, buddy? Gonna get a blanket? Yeah. You have one? Check the car. What's your back? What do you do to help?
Probably just keep traffic going.
Yeah, that's what I
You guys want to turn it around at Greenback after these cars through? You guys want to shut down everything or leave?
I think we should turn around at Greenback.
Yeah.
Deal with traffic. You guys just chill. We'll get traffic.
Yeah, they were asking if they wanted
Just trying to help out.
I know.
So, do you want to start
I'll call you guys
maybe?
later. You call me when you're good.
Hands are okay. You got it. Okay.
Fingers seem okay on that hand. Trying to get the ambulance here.
That was you behind me calling it? Or somebody else jumped
I was
in?
number 3, he jumped in number 2 and took it and started calling it. I heard you voiced, I was sitting at Winters.
I saw you when you rolled on.
So right when you said approaching, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to jump in and you're solo too.
Need a flag now. Mike, the guys are here. I'm going to back away. And I will be in to see you as soon as I can get This one?
The driver of the motorcycle is transported to the hospital. They suffered from a broken clavicle, minor brain bleeding, 11 broken ribs, a collapsed lung, a spinal fracture, and fractures to the knee and right hand. A few hours later, detectives speak with drivers who also saw the incident unfold.
So from top to bottom, we just want to start with where you were coming from, and then everything that you saw afterwards. Take your time, as much time as you want, spare no detail. All the sights you were seeing, all the smells you were smelling, everything you were experiencing at that time. We just want to hear everything.
Okay. We are coming back from seeing an open house. We are getting on at Greenback. I think it's called or whatever the freeway entrance is right there. He was making the comment of he was driving really slow and he's like, oh, somebody's gonna get pulled over behind me. And I was like, okay. And then I'm like looking ahead, not trying to like turn around like I normally do. And we see this Prius come out of nowhere, and then I see this CHP motorcycle cop come out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh no, I hope he misses the 2 motorcycles that are driving in that far lane. And he's like, what? And the Prius took the guy on the left side of the lane. We saw the Prius go flying, the motorcycle go flying, and I'm like, where's the motorcycle guy? Like, I'm like looking, and I'm like, oh, I think he's laying on the ground right there. Hopefully he's alive. So I started calling 911, and it said, 911's currently busy, please try again. And I was like, okay, never mind, screw this.
Yeah.
And so, in the process, I guess they called me back. I don't really know. I was And then I see that the CHP and SACP or whatever, the sheriff's department's pulling out their guns. I see some guy crawl from the Prius onto the ground, and he's like trying to pull something out, and it looks like a baton or something black, and I didn't really care to look more, but then they shot him and he was on the ground.
So you were getting on eastbound 80 going around the turn. You said is this your husband that you're talking about? Okay. Tell me again what he said out loud.
He was like, oh, somebody's getting pulled over behind me, and I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's lights behind me, and I was like, okay. So I'm like, well, okay, I'm assuming they're getting pulled over behind us, so why do I care to look?
Yeah, absolutely. So at that point, where are you when he's saying that?
We're in the second to slowest lane from the right.
Okay. Okay, so had you already merged onto the freeways?
Yeah.
He was saying that. Okay. So he was saying someone's getting pulled over you, and why was he saying that out loud? Do you know what he was seeing at that time?
Because we have this joke because I recently got pulled over like a month ago, and he's like, every time he sees lights, he's like, oh, somebody's behind us.
Oh, they're
and
looking
I'm
for you.
like, oh, I'm not driving this time.
Yeah, you're like, stop me.
Yeah.
Okay, but at that point, you're still looking forward. You never looked behind you to see what was going on. Okay, and remind me, where were you seated inside of your car?
In the passenger front.
So let's break that down a little bit. So you're seeing this silver. What color was it?
It was a silver Prius with like a black whatever fender on it of some sort. Like it looked like it had been in a car accident prior, but it looked like it had a black fender or something missing.
Okay, on the missing.
Missing, or like it was a black fender. I think it's on the right side is what I saw it
On the front or the back of the car?
The front.
But again, you saw the silver Prius that appeared to be driving really fast. So it was in the number 2 lane, and what lane were the motorcyclists in?
They were in the number 2 lane.
What did his car do? What were you seeing it do?
It's almost like he tried to go to the left super fast to like go around the motorcycles, but must have overcorrected and gone on and like went to the right.
Okay.
So he hit the guy on the left and then went to the right to like correct himself.
Okay. So he hits the motorcyclist, and then what happens next?
Essentially drags the motorcyclist all the way up to the tree, but obviously the motorcyclist didn't go up to the tree like the motorcycle did.
So describe to me what happened to the motorcycle.
It essentially like as soon as he hit it, everything went flying in the air. The guy went flying in the air. Everything got scattered from his bike, and he ended up in the middle of the far 2 right lanes. So 3 and 4.
Okay. And what lane were you in?
We were in 3, and I essentially told him, like, stop, like, you need to stop.
So the other motorist pulled over?
The other motorcycle driver, the one that was riding tandem with his friend, that was hit.
You're saying he pulled over as well? Okay.
Yeah.
And where was he this whole time?
I think he went in the ambulance with his friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How originally, when we're looking at what you saw with the scene of the crash, how far away were each law enforcement officer parked from the sedan and the motorcycle?
I have no idea how much. Well, maybe like 3 car lengths further down, maybe 2.
From
where the Prius was, yeah.
Okay, so 3 car lengths away from them. Okay. How far away were you from everyone?
Probably 2 or 3 car lengths.
You see them, but you're still trying to merge onto the freeway, right? Could you tell at that point how far back they were?
Just linear so far.
Okay.
And then by the time they were just, I would say, when I looked over just to my left, other than just the mirror, the motorcyclists were just passing by.
And by those motorcyclists, you mean the 2 that you saw paralleling, or riding next to each other?
Correct.
And you said you believe those were in like the number 3 or 4 lane, perhaps?
Yeah.
So sorry. So the way the highways works, right? We talk about number 1 is like the carpool lane or the fast lane, right? So 3 or 4, probably pretty close to you.
Probably around 2 or 3 actually.
They're in 2 or 3.
Because not in the carpool lane. They were either right next to it or
the other side.
One.
Okay. So as they're paralleling, could you tell how fast they were going?
Probably at a speed limit at 70, 75.
Okay. So they pass you. You're still accelerating as you're merging onto the freeway, right? At what point? Okay, so then you see the silver Prius, right? And it is in the number 1
lane and 2.
So they are in the number 1 lane, and there is no one in front of them. It's entirely obstructed. But then you have the 2 motorcyclists, either in the number 2 or 3 lane, right next to them.
Yeah.
And then you see. Tell me what you see the Prius do.
Number 1 or number 2. trying to go right a little bit, but then came back to the left, and that's when they clipped the left motorcyclist.
Okay, so describe that to me. So are you saying he was pulling to the right because he was kind of driving erratically?
Erratically fast, trying to possibly get away in front of them, but kind of maneuvered back.
Maneuver back. Okay,
Back to the left.
so he's behind the two motorcyclists, but then comes back around, and that's when he clips left lane. So at that point, he had no other reason to get over, right? I mean, there's no one in front of him, and he has this weird maneuver, and then clips the one. So you say they're paralleling the one on the left. That's when he clips that one. Okay, so he clips that one. You see the motorcyclist, the rider, fly into the air.
Right.
The motorcycle kind of
Obliterates.
just explodes.
He lunges the knife and thrusts it towards the motorcyclist, and I fire my weapon because I believe he would have killed the motorcyclist. I believe his intent, he wasn't going to stop. He wasn't listening to commands. There was no time to de-escalate his actions, his movements, his demeanor. It was all basically on his time. He wanted to do what he wanted to do when he wanted to do it.
The suspect was struck by 8 rounds and was pronounced deceased at the scene. Despite suffering severe injuries, the motorcycle driver survived the accident. As always, let us know your thoughts on this incident in the comments, and be sure to subscribe for more body cam footage daily.